Does the person you are with encourage you to read? You have to ask, what does he bring for me? Roses or books? If someone has a stake in making you better, that person will push you towards books. Books are what we all need.
Good evening, sir. My name is Malvika. My question is that we have seen many celebrities talk about their morning routines as the key solution to their achievements. So, according to you, what is the perfect daily routine for everyone? I have never had a set routine, so I'm not the right person to ask this one to. But see, I wake up and I stretch my hand to my workstation, which is my phone, and that's the routine. That sets it. The ball is rolling now, and I don't realize when the day ends. I have very little idea. So, routine, when you are on the battlefield, they say that all your plans are only till when the first bullet is fired. Before the battle begins, obviously you draw very meticulous plans on both sides. The generals on the two sides are sitting and saying, this is my strategy, we'll do this, attack from here. But the moment the first shell is fired, all the plans are gone. Then it's just your sincerity towards your cause that takes you home. So that's how it has been in my case. If there is work to do, how do I say that my routine necessitates going to bed at 11 p.m.? But there is work to do, and work is still not finished. So I'll have to stay awake till 2 or 3 a.m. and that's what? 2 hoots to the routine. What can I do with the routine? That's a bad advice. Don't take it, because it's a difficult one to bear, and it really requires a bull's body to take and live this advice, because this kind of a thing is actually harsh on the physical system. When you commit yourself fully to something worthwhile in life, then you have to disregard your body quite often, and sometimes in a big way. And in course of time, it will take its toll, not to be denied. So it depends on the depth of your love, right? A successful life in some sense is about dancing to somebody else's tunes. Whose tunes? Something bigger than yourself. Something bigger than yourself. And then you don't care for your own preferences, your own likes, dislikes, routines, or food habits, or this and that. I don't think I'll ever have the luxury of waking up at a particular time. I live in a kind of a community environment. People keep barging into my room all the time. And that wakes me up. What do I do? There's never a lock here in this campus on any room. So, not even on my room. People are free to walk in anytime as they please, and they exercise their right with all their gust. There are times when I'm so tired in the night that I just don't have the energy to pull down the curtains. So it's 4 a.m. and you're exhausted. You just want to crash. And the windows are all open. What's the result? The result is that at 6 a.m. you are again woken up by the sunlight. And that's how it happens. No regrets. That might be a short-lived way, but it's a beautiful way to surrender your routine to your cause. When you have an exam tomorrow, do you say that this is my time to sleep, or this is when I watch my favorite TV show? Do you say all that? The routine goes for a toss. What routine? There is an exam tomorrow. So, give yourself a life in which there is an exam every day. Then you live very tightly. There is no slack. Then there is an automatic discipline. A discipline beyond an imposed routine. Because a routine definitely makes space for leisure, etc. as well, right? When you say routine, that means these are the hours when I'll study, these are the hours when I'll do this, do that, and these are the hours when I'll have my spare time for my leisure, etc. So, a routine is some kind of a luxury. You require a discipline beyond a routine. You commit yourself totally. There is that song, Mainu Ishak Nachaya Kala Thaiya Thaiya. You are dancing to somebody's tune. And the master is not you. The master is beyond you. Funny? It should be. It's actually quite funny.
Hello, sir. Good evening. My name is Suhail, and my question to you is that youngsters nowadays are very cautious about their diet, their health. They try to live a good lifestyle. So they try to wake up early. First thing they do yoga or meditate. They try to follow a good diet, etc. But yet, at the end of the day, they complain about not being enough, feeling empty, feeling incomplete. Why do you suppose this happens?
Because you're not born to just have a great lifestyle. You are born for a purpose. And we have already spoken of the purpose. The purpose is freedom from your pre-existing bondages. This happens in Tihad. They arrange yoga for the inmates. Does that liberate them? Yoga classes are arranged for all the prisoners. That makes them more peaceful prisoners. Unfortunately, that's what a lot of yoga and meditation has become. You remain inside your prison and keep meditating. What else can you anyway do? You have been served a life sentence. You have gotten into something you cannot get out of your entire life, right? So meditate. That will keep you peaceful till you pass away. Meditation then becomes an obligation. Huh? Real meditation is revolution. If you are really meditative, you will rise and blow yourself up like a suicide bomber. That's what real meditativeness is. If you do not want to challenge your fundamental problems, instead you want to keep giving yourself superficial treatments. I have only salad for dinner. How will that help? How will that help? The fellow takes only salad at night. How will that help? It's all within the cage. Nice salad, Greek salad, served in the cage. How will that help? Very fit chap he is, extremely fit. And the face glows. All the fitness within the cage. Push-ups and pull-ups, leg press and chest press, everything, come on, within the cage. Duly sanctioned by the jailer. How will that help? The hollowness will remain. But that's the unfortunate ideal of this age. A very destructive, very pathetic ideal. Even spirituality has become so body-centric. All the spiritual teachers are talking about great diets and this and that and superfoods. What does self-knowledge have to do with superfoods? All that is just a trick to keep you confined and satisfied in the cage. In the cage. Think of the parrot in the cage. You don't want to let the parrot die. So you keep serving the parrot nice things. And sometimes you can even bring it a golden cage. The parrot is very happy. See, look at all the gold that I have. I even eat gold. And I say Ram Ram in the cage. If you really loved Ram, would you continue to live in the cage? Then what is this Mithu Bolo Ram Ram in the cage? What is all this spirituality and meditation and yoga? If it is not making you rebel in the loudest way possible, in the most authentic way possible.
Hello, sir. Sir, my question. You were talking about the cage. So what came to me was this cage is of my tendencies and the things that just arise in me without me knowing. Did I get it right?
The nature of the self is freedom. When you value something more than freedom, right? Then you give up on the freedom to accept that thing around you. Please understand the nature of the cage. What is a cage? Something around you. Something, you are there and there is something around you. That's called a cage. That thing is around you because you have accepted it, allowed it to be around you. Basically, you have said, I am trading away my freedom for this thing. Because if you want to retain your freedom, then you cannot have the cage. If you retain your freedom, can you have the cage? Okay. So it's a deal. You have bartered away your freedom for something else. Now, whatever it is you have bartered away your freedom for, that's called a cage. So, for example, I'm prepared to compromise on my freedom for the sake of your love. That's a cage. Anything that takes away your freedom is called that's the definition of a cage. A cage will not always look like a cage. When a bird is confined, it is obvious to see that there is a tangible material, metallic cage. The cages that we are confined in are not so tangible. So how do you detect whether you are caged? See what is it around you that exists at the cost of your freedom. See what is it around you that exists at the cost of your... Whatsoever exists within or around you at the cost of your freedom is called a cage.
And it will include that barter that one does to get, there's a thought that wraps one around. So that is also at the cost of my freedom.
Even thought can aspire to be free. It is no mean thing to be a free thinker. Thought can obviously never be absolutely free. Thought always has the thinker at the center. So absolute freedom of thought is impossible. But even relatively, it is not a small thing to try to think freely. Even that freedom we barter for something else. Most people do not think freely because they cannot afford to think freely. If they think freely, they will be losing out on a lot of their conveniences. So they just don't think freely. They pause their minds at a certain place. Beyond that, they dare not go. Even in their thoughts, they do not dare to transgress certain limits.
This is what I have noticed in myself as well, because once my securities are at stake, then I stop my freedom of thought at that point. So that's what happens. Acharya, one more thing. You were talking about authenticity. Just before you were talking about being authentic. So either this comes either from the body or the social conditioning that I have around me. So there is, what I can see is there is just artificiality and there is no authenticity. So how can one inculcate this authenticity? Because it was very attractive. It was a very attractive word for me, being authentic, because I find myself being very artificial at times, and that gives me suffering. So how can one inculcate this?
No, you don't have to inculcate authenticity. Authenticity is your nature. You just have to figure out what is it that you are considering more important than authenticity. Once you see that there is something that you consider more important than authenticity, you will want to investigate its true value. Here, this is it. Something, let's say attachment, that I am considering very, very important. Even more important than authenticity, that is truth. So you go close to it and figure out whether attachment is really worth all that value. Whether attachment is really worth all that value. When you investigate, you find it does not have that kind of value. Then attachment drops, authenticity shines. Authenticity is not something you have to gain from somewhere. It's just that we start valuing other things a lot. The other things that you are valuing, you must figure out whether they are really worth it.
But I'm sorry, but I was not able to understand this with attachment per se. I was not.
Something, anything. There is authenticity that you are claiming to respect and value. At the same time, you are saying you don't have enough of it and you want to obtain it. Which basically means there is something else that you are valuing more than authenticity. Something, I don't know what. You figure out. So that other thing, let's call it A, that you are valuing so much. I'm saying, look at it, find out whether it really makes sense to give it so much of value.
Usually it is just the pleasures that I tend to give value. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, sir, for sharing your valuable strategies, your wisdom over all the years that you have worked and understood about life. We really appreciate you on behalf of Enactus Shamlal College Evening for coming and sharing all the things that you did today. The thing that we are doing right now is a project called Kissa by Enactus Shamlal College Evening. So what it does is it shares the stories and the untold stories of people, and from people who are really successful at what they do, their views and their opinions. So this is the project that we have started, and it was really nice having you. Apart from this, I'm really a huge fan of you, not only just what you share, but of your brutal honesty. That's why, I also came here to learn and understand about what life is. The things that people asked are really important questions, because we don't get all these answers everywhere. We see them on the internet, but we don't get an in-depth answer for them. So thanks a lot for coming and sharing all the things that you did. We really appreciate the time that you did for us. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.